Chelsea fans, it's yet another day of reckoning. It's yet another day in our history where we sit back, we reflect, and we say, where do we want to be? And I sure will tell you, I don't want to be where we are tonight. Matter of fact, for me, today is the day that I switch sides. I have defended Pochettino for the longest time possible. And I think I've come to the point where, for some who've argued with me over my defense of the guy, will be so shocked to be hearing me say, sack Poch tonight. Sack Pochettino tonight. Because now this is fast becoming a crisis. And I totally understand when some people say, all the players are doing this, all the players are making the wrong decisions, Sterling is failing to cut back when he should have, and all of those kinds of things. I totally agree, I totally understand that. But the challenge I have right now is that Sterling is one of the more experienced players in this team, and he doesn't give me the strength to defend him, that he has some sort of leadership around him that tells him what exactly we need of him. I don't care if at all he dribbles right or anything, but he should be the leader. He should be the person who knows when something goes wrong, I am going to be called out. The person who should be able to impact the same pressure on the rest of the younger players and all of that. What it looks like right now is a lack of leadership at this club in terms of, hey, Jackson, go get your yellow cards. We'll talk to him. I was angry at him and that's it. But he keeps on getting the yellow cards. What are you doing as a manager about that? After a single game, all we hear from you is, oh, we weren't clinical enough. Oh, we shall get there, and all of those kinds of things. I am at the point where I'm wondering, are we trying to show these guys the levels to which they should be playing at, or are we creating an environment where it is okay for them to fail because, hey, we shall wait it out on you? That's exactly where I'm switching my guards and my grounds and all of those kinds of things. I'm going to be discussing a whole lot more on this in this particular video. It's a whole rant before I even introduce myself. My name is Desire Derek Mugumisa. If you thought we were already into the video, I'm here to surprise you. We're only getting started. All right, now I've got to share with you that I think this is the part where we come and say Stamford Bridge is in crisis. Chelsea is in crisis. We had a lot of promise before from the preseason. Oh, okay, maybe we could do this, we could do that. Yes, there have been the injuries and all of those kinds of things, but where we are headed to today, it's peril. It is peril, people. And I'm not so sure that we can survive this turmoil if at all we keep this man in the job. And for me, again, it's not about the tactic. Well, it's going to be about the tactics too, but it's not about, oh, how the players are failing on the pitch and all of that. It is, what are you as Pochettino getting to do as, you know, everything seems to be going out of hand? And on the technical front, it's a broken record. Looking at what is going on the pitch week in, week out, we did these same things when we lost to whoever you can name. Today, losing against Wolves was the first time we are losing on the road. In games we should have killed off, that we didn't kill off. In all those kinds of things. And for me, how it reads, when I see that when Cole Palmer plays well, we win, and when he doesn't, we fail. When Sterling plays well, we win, and when he doesn't, we fail. When I look at Enzo Fernandez being a shadow of the player we know he can be, and I've only seen his level in a couple of games, including against Liverpool at the start of the season and almost never a game. When I look at Caicedo, yes, he's fitting in and all of those kinds of things, but he's really struggling. I cannot point out one player that has come to this club and has done better than they were at their former club. When I see that on top of all of that, and yes, someone is going to say, yeah, it's a club in transition and all of that, and you know what, you can tell that to me because I have said that all the time. But right now, again, like I said, it's a day of reckoning. I'm thinking through it and I'm saying, okay, so if this back four is not working, when have we tried a back three? When have we said, you know what, when we played this way, and Madsen and Gusto came in and they showed something, when have we built on that? And for me, I will make this comparison because against Newcastle, second half, we even got a goal. We went to the penalty shootout. We won that penalty shootout and all of that because of what we did right in the second half. Yes, we don't have to go gung-ho, but what did we pick from those final minutes that we can bring to the next game? Nothing. We went back to the tactics that failed us at the start. The only difference, Gusto came in and he ran that right wing up and down. For me, the thing is, when something fails, as a manager who is the leader and all of that, you've got to go back and draw plans and say, you know what, this didn't work, we're going to try this. But it feels like there is a certain set of tactics that Pochettino knows about that we have to keep grinding and grinding until it works, not anymore. And I think that's exactly one of the problems that we do have as far as this guy is concerned. There seems to be no game plan. Well, there's a game plan, but there's no plan B, there's no plan C, there is no something that we can do. I mean, we go into a game, there are chances that are missed and all of that. But hey guys, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep doing the same thing. Something else might come through. We keep doing the same thing, hoping that something different will come of it. And I don't think that's the level that Chelsea should be at. I don't think this manager is fit for this level. I think I've drawn my conclusions now. I think it's about time that we switch up and bring in someone that is fit for the role. Away from the tactics and all of that, great investments have been made in this club. And I think I hinted at this a little bit earlier. The signings that we made might have been all potential and not much of who they are currently and all of that. But they were solid players at the clubs that they were at. If each of these players brought 90% of what they were doing at their clubs, we should be performing much better than this. And I still don't get to see that. We've spent quite a bit of money, and Nkunku walks onto the pitch, and he looks much better than everybody else on there. So it looks like it works for him, but not for the others. What is it that can get this group of different players working together well enough for us to have a team? At what point do you ring in your authority as Mauricio Pochettino and we get to have something out of this particular team? And for me, if at all these situations continue, and you see the thing about Nkunku shining today, even that doesn't give me a lot of hope. Because when Cole Palmer came through and he put in the performances that he did, we won games, we scored goals and all of those kinds of things. The moment is he figured out, does he get to sink to the level of his colleagues after a while and all of those kinds of things? These things disappear. All we see is long-range shots coming in from him in games, and especially in moments where he shouldn't be doing that. And I'm also thinking that maybe it's at a point where Cole Palmer has also lost trust in some of the other players that he's playing with, that he feels even if I give him a ball, nothing is going to come of it. At the end of the day, Pochettino is the captain of this sinking ship. And if he has failed to perform as well as he does in press conferences, because let's face it, the man has a press conference game. He really knows what to say when. He knows how to manage the press. He knows how to, and I was talking about this in previous videos, he knows how to impress the journalists, impress the owners, impress the fans and all of that. A loss finally, it feels like, it's part of the process and all of those kinds of things. But yeah, there comes a time when every beautiful thing that you do in the press conference has got to show on the pitch. And I was talking to one of the friends on one of the WhatsApp groups that we are on as Chelsea fans, and he was pointing out, it actually just occurred to me in that game, and here I am changing my whole opinion on these things. Guys, at the end of the day, and this was his question, and I think it's a pious, big shout out to you. It's a very genuine question. Guys, at what point do we sit down and realize that this is a coaching problem? Where are the patterns? What are we trying to do on the pitch, off it? Again, we're talking about, when you lose a game, you go back, you draw a plan and come back with something different. We had Antonio Conte in charge of Chelsea. I think that's the best example we can get to give. He tried, I think it was the 4-3-3, played it a couple of times, results were inconsistent. Arsenal washed us in the first half of their game. He came back, changed a few things, and we never looked back. He went to the back three, brought in players that we thought were poor. We were told Victor Moses is not any good. Alonso was struggling to settle in and all of these kinds of things. And he found a way to make the team work. Did it get to a point where he wanted to go back to what he wants to do? Please remember, Antonio Conte, in as much as he wanted to play a back three, he hadn't started playing a back three because he always needed a second striker. The kind of back three he preferred to play was one with two strikers. But he only had Diego Costa at Chelsea. That's why he had delayed to convert to that. Maybe waiting for January to buy a second striker or something like that he could use with Diego Costa. He realized I don't have the second striker, but I think something needs to change here. He went for the 3-4-2-1, if I remember that. And he made use of what he had. What is your strength and what can we come up with here? That's exactly what we failed to get with Pochettino. Matter of fact, I don't know much about his career at Espanyol, but when I look at his career at Southampton, when I look at his career at Tottenham, I don't think he has ever been in a situation that he is in right now. So how are we trusting him to be the man to lead us out of here? Friends, it is tough. But some truths need to be told. This is the harsh reality. We are being sold dreams. There is no master plan. And yes, bully, clearly capital, better the Bali. Pochettino needs to leave tonight. It is as simple as that. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to hear from you. The comment section is open. Let's have that conversation. Where do you stand on this? Do you agree with me? I'm thinking many of you will do, because I think I was dragging you too much to the Pochettino side over the years and over the weeks and the months and all of those kinds of things. But it is done, man. This emotional roller coaster has got to come to an end. It is okay. I am for the projects. I am for the processes. I am for being patient with the processes. But like I've said in a couple of videos before, people, we have got to have signs, call them symptoms of progress. There is none right now. There is none at the moment. And what else, man? I think just subscribe to the channel, guys. I think it's about to be very, very interesting. And a couple of people, of course, will be asking, I do imagine, who do you then reckon comes in as the standing manager? Is it still biased? I'll give a name, man. It's just about giving a name. Graham Potter, interim manager. Don't give him much. Interim manager, Graham Potter. You gave him, and this is my reasoning behind it. We were terrible under Graham Potter. I do agree to that. But Graham Potter knows the problems that we do have at this particular club. And the plus for him, it's an opportunity to correct what went wrong. But very importantly, it is an opportunity for him to work closer to what was an ideal situation, to what he had hoped for, that he didn't get an opportunity to do at Chelsea Football Club. That's two things. Thirdly, when we were in this situation, and this is exactly why I kept hung up on him, the results weren't coming and many people were jumping at his neck. I stuck with him, and I did a recent video of why I thought it was a big mistake for us to sack him. And that was really down to my belief that there were signs on the pitch, which signs we don't see right now. With Graham Potter, even in the final game versus Aston Villa, look for those highlights. Aston Villa beat us with their 2 chances on goal. We created about 10, 15 or something like that. And that's not to say Pochettino's team didn't do that today, but we saw patterns. We saw what we were trying to do on the pitch. We played good football. You would see that it was a disjointed squad that was trying to be made the best of, but something wasn't clicking just yet. Right now, you need an interim manager. I don't think we'll be getting a permanent manager. I don't think our leadership, and for me this is the other bit that is very, very disorganized about us, I don't think our leadership plans so forward-thinkingly. Other than the paper and all young players going into this, all RB Leipzig, Strasbourg, and all of those kinds of things, I don't think managerial-wise we think that far away, because when we sacked Potter, we brought in Lampard at a point whereby it was clear we were clueless on who should be coming in, and you also saw the process through which we went from Enrique, and that was the guy I wanted really, to Nagelsmann, to just about everyone in the world before we came. Pochettino was also in there, and all of those kinds of things, until we landed on Pochettino. It was a process that happened only after we sacked Graham Potter. For the longest time, there had been shouts about sack this guy, plan for it. There have been these shouts about sack Pochettino, but I don't think they have a plan. I don't think they have approached a couple of people and put them in the backyard. And I think Nottingham Forest, for me, did it so brilliantly the other day. By the time they saw out their manager, they already had someone who had been spoken to, and it was a matter of, we'll hire you, you'll be in place and all of those kinds of things. You're going to sack this guy tomorrow, and this is it. And yes, there were a couple of people who felt that was disrespectful, but if you're running a project like that, you've got to plan ahead. The other time we were looking at Brighton, the CEO from Brighton, and they think of that is on the podcast that is high performance. I should plug it down below. And they were telling you that, yeah, by the time, Graham Potter's profile was growing in English football and all of that, they knew that the top clubs would be looking for him. They didn't wait for that time to come. They were already talking to a couple of people, and De Zerbi was one of the people they wanted. And as much as, of course, he was in a higher league and all of that, COVID-19 arrived at the right time for them, and they knew who they wanted to talk to and bring into the club. Do we exactly have that going on? I'm not so sure. So on that point, the only other manager these guys really know is Graham Potter. He's out of a job. He's in a position, I would imagine, where he feels like, oh my goodness, if they'd given me that Chelsea side, I would have done this and done that and done that. Give him the interim job and see how that one gets to go. Try to finish the unfinished business. If it was terrible, well, it was terrible. We wasted a big chunk of last season with Frank Lampard. I don't think it would be so new this time. And hopefully, the leadership can have themselves a proper hire if Graham Potter fails. That will be it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. I'm urging you to subscribe to the channel, to follow me on social media, and very importantly, to keep the blue flag flying high.